Are we live? I think. Oh! I completely did not expect it to go live after the server issues, so... let me do that introduction again. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Straight Line Motorsports Mazda MX5 Cup Championship, round number 5 here at Fuji International Speedway. I am your host and commentator for today's set of races, SDM_RRDZ, and today we have a stacked field ready for y'all to watch and enjoy. Link it. So as I excitingly put the link in the Discord. Elliot's gonna look at me thinking I'm a pretty weird person, but I'm a pretty ecstatic man, of course. So, while we wait for qualifying to reignite its way, let's go down the field. Oh, never mind that. We'll take a look at the field in qualifying anyways. So, we have about 11 cars here today taking part in qualifying. And it is a very, very stacked. And of course, for those tuning in to the broadcast, please, you are free to leave your comments, thoughts and comments in the live stream chat. So I will look forward to replying to. So as we look down the field for the outlap here, we have the 24 of SLM polymer in the very nice looking one-off livery for stand up to cancer. Always good when teams field one-off liveries. I always love seeing them. It's good art. We have the sister car to SLM Palmer TGIS 78 in the number 78 Mazda. Same livery scheme as its full season livery. And he will be looking to make up some points in the race. And we have Ryra. Internet connection quality is currently not significant to broadcast gameplay. For now, we will monitor it. Hello, Yuri, and welcome to the broadcast. I am excited this time because we did have a bit of issues. We did get sorted out. Once again, we do run our way back to Ryra, who's come aboard in the championship again. It's the 27. He's fielding a very nice livery. It's actually a pretty nice decal that he's got on the sides of the Mazda, but they are pretty nice. And then we have GT3 regular Ben L85 in the 8 Mazda, who is running in this series. So it is always good to see guys come over from the GT3 Championship for some fun cup racing. Doug Barrow and Hair Razor in the Costa-sponsored Mazdas. Hair Razor theoretically could take the lead of the championship because James Head and Elliot Fagener being the championship leader, is not here this weekend. So, Hair Razor looking to grab some serious points here today in this stacked Mazda MX5 Cup Championship. And then another GT3 regular in the Pro-Am ranks, Durdude 14 in the very nice looking rusty Mazda MX5 right there, the number 14. I'm going to give that the nickname the Rusty because I always like seeing these nice Mazdas in the rust colored decals right there. A very nice car, of course. And we have Patrolhead, who's also another GT3 regular, as he will be running in the number 44 Mazda as well. Krista Crow, and then Bar 27. Krista Crow, who has the livery that reminds me of Jimi Hendrix from the 60s, with the hippie scheme, and the 71 Mazda, as he is giving Bar 27 a very nice tow for qualifying. So, for now, outlaps are complete now. We turn our tide to the front of the field now, where we take a look now for qualifying. The field is pretty spread apart. There's a couple groups that are together, but there are some groups that are together. And oh, Ben L85 is going to force a bit of contact already. in qualifying. Ryra's giving him the flashes, so he definitely didn't like that from Ben L85. I'm assuming Ben L85 didn't really mean to do that, but for the time being, we still have a couple more flying laps to set. Doug Barrow and Hair Razor giving each other some space. Patrolhead giving some space as well. Dirdude in the rusty Mazda. And then Barr and Chris the Crow rounding up the field. One thing I kind of noticed as well is that the eyes on the front of the Mazda look really, really nice. So I do like the liveries that Dirdude and Chris the Crow all have. But we turn a tide once again to the front of the field as the first wave of fly laps come to a close here for round number 6, or I'm sorry, round number 5 of the championship, I should say. So, what does SLM Palmer have as the benchmark? The benchmark is a 2:14.781. So, who can top that? TGIS with a 2:16.215 from Ryra. So, Doug Barrow moves to pole position with a 2:14.8. Patrolhead with a 2:14.3, Ben L85 with a 2:22, so he's had a bad lap somewhere. Dirty has also had a bad lap somewhere in the rusty Mazda. Barr 27 and Chris the Crow now coming across the line. A 2:17 from Barr. And let's see here, Chris the Crow, the 2:22. So I think that first lap was a hot lap, was a beginning lap for him. So a 2:30.3 for Chris the Crow to try and space away from the field at the moment. So I think he wants to be the one to spill the spoils. Look at the car making the face on the front stretch. And that's going to give everyone bejeebers when he's trying to overtake somebody. So that might be something to keep an eye on about, obviously. So Patrolhead now with a 2:14.3, leading Doug Barrow by less than 3/10 of a second for pole position. And SLM Palmer once again the first car to come through these tight hairpins for the next set of qualifying laps. And in just about over 3.5 minutes to go, these guys might have this lap and one more, so they will have about 3 laps total to try and set a qualifying lap. But my main concern is that everyone down here, for Chris the Crow, if he wants to set a lap, it's got to be this time. So Palmer now coming across start finish line once again. What will the time be? It will be a 2:13.8 to set himself for pole position by 0.5 over TGIS, and his teammate TGIS popping in a second, just under half a second behind Doug Barrow with a 2:13.8. Hair Razor getting on pole position, and Patrolhead is sneaking behind Hair Razor by just under 0.4. So in the next wave of hot laps, Hair Razor in the second place championship car has bumped himself up to pole position, and I'm not sure what the rule is on bonus points for pole position. Bar 27 with a 2:17.4, so he's had another terrible lap somewhere. And Chris the Crow will only get one more lap as he sets a 2:18. He's going to have to push like an absolute stabbed rat if he wants any way of getting another lap in for qualifying. So Hair Razor now. Let's take a look at the gaps down here real quickly as these guys come through. Patrolhead with a purple sector 3 on that lap, and then Doug Barrow on his last lap. SLM Palmer, the quickest man in sector 2. He's on a purple lap at the moment, but he's put a foot wrong, I think, into the hairpin. So that might be his hot lap done. The top 2 have not improved on this lap. Elliot Faggoter wants me to confirm lobby settings with him real quickly. So to view it, just for him to take a look. Unfortunately, I am in pounds, so 2,116. Let me take a look here. 2,116 pounds. Pounds to... No, that's not... Oh, dang. 2,116 pounds. 2,116 pounds to kilos. 959. Settings are good for Elliot in the Discord, or I should say in the YouTube chat. So hopefully everything goes to as planned. Hot laps now coming on in. 214 for Dude, who sneaks into 6th, but Ben L85 only can manage 10th place, so it's got to be this lap for him if he wants to improve. Bar 27 will get another lap. Will Krista Crow get another lap in? He just made it. He just got another lap, a 2:17.266. And he's going to have one more lap to put down, so... So, lobby settings are incorrect. So we will have to check that. So now the final wave of qualifying laps. And TGIS, who was in 2nd at the start of this lap, is now down to 7th. He has had a 5 penalty to serve, so his qualifying is done. SLM Palmer, the first of the guys to come across for the end of qualifying. So what will SLM Palmer do? He's on a pretty good lap at the moment. And no improvement by 0.3 of a second. So, Ryra, the next man, no improvement for him. Doug Barrow, no improvement as well. Patrolhead, no improvement on these last set of laps. So someone has got yet to improve. Dude now, no improvement either. So, and TGIS, unfortunately, his qualifying is done. But bar 27, Krista Crow and Ben L85, can they spill some trouble here for qualifying? And no improvement for bar 27, so no improvements. Ben L85 not even an improvement. But what can Krista Crow do to spoil, and not even an improvement on the final lap, so no improvements on the final lap. And Hair Raiser will inherit pole position over Patrolhead. And so we move to the grid. Hair Raiser on the front row with Patrolhead. Palmer and Doug Barrow make up the second row. Ryra, Dude, TGIS, Krista Crow, Bar 27, and Ben L85. They get to move around for a little bit. Nope, never mind. I stand corrected here. But let's get back to the action for turn number 1 here. Patrolhead on the inside, but Palmer is going to follow up. And can Patrolhead make a dive down to the inside for turn number 1? Harry's has got to do the heavy work, and he gets shoved wide. And SLM Palmer, can he sneak through for the lead? And yes, he can indeed. And he's alongside Hair Raiser. Never mind, he's right there, but look at the action right there, further back down to the grid. And now these cars just forming in a train. And these three cars here, Chris the Crow, Bar 27, and Ben L85, are all still in this race. SLM Palmer, who in the championship right about now he's fourth on points, so he's looking to get some valuable points this time by so let's ride on board now with Patrolhead, who normally races in the Pro-Am GT3 Championship full-time, as he's looking to put a foot down on the championship here. Oh, and he takes out the bollard, which is something he doesn't really want to do. And he almost took out the other one. Who's going to take out the other one? And Patrolhead gets a kick of oversteer out of the hairpin. And can Doug Barrow sneak up into third place? Yes, he can. And can Ryrod, that's 2 positions lost for Patrolhead. Can he sneak a position or so into the final corner? And they're 3 wide going into the final corner. That's amazing stuff to be watching right about there. As Dirted in the rusty Mazda, as he gets a kick of oversteer as well. And Chris the Crow, Bar, and Ben L85, unfortunately. And look at this move over to the pit wall. Doug Barrow is right up along the pit wall. Look at this right about here. They're below the white line. I'm not sure if that's going to thwart a penalty, but Ryra is coming, and that is going to. Doug Barrow moved at the worst possible time. It's going to allow Ryra to sneak into the inside for turn number 1 on the second lap, and that is a position gain right there for Ryra. But can Doug Barrow sneak the over/under? It looks like it's a good move, and he's done so. What an amazing move right there. Harry's are now still on the back bumper of Palmer, and there's so much action. I heard tires squealing. I thought that was an instant right about there, but this is amazing stuff that we're seeing right here. Patrolhead getting it completely sideways right here. This is amazing stuff right here. And TGIS 78. Oh, and there's major contact right there out of that corner. And I thought I spat all over my my computer, or my keyboard I should say, which is something I don't really want to do, of course. And TGIS, who all of a sudden who has fallen back massively. Let's turn our attention to the front of the field here as SLM Palmer, who at the moment is still seeking his first win of the season, just like Hair Raiser. So, with Elliot Faggoter and James Head not racing in this series, someone is definitely going to win this championship for the first time today, and hopefully the next race. So, we will have a first-time winner this race, 100% guaranteed. And look at the pressure that Doug Barrow has to withstand from Ryra. Look at the damage that Ryra has got on his Mazda on the front end. And oh, you can see the back of the damage on the back of Doug Barrow. And once again, Doug Barrow moves to the inside, makes one move. He's legally allowed to move slowly to the pit wall, but once he's there, he cannot make another move unless the guy is right alongside him to make a block. So, amazing racing right here. Ryra alongside the 13 Costa Honda, or not the Honda. I'm sorry, the Mazda. I'm getting too carried away in this league, I swear. Ryra goes a bit wide, and Doug Barrow defends the position very, very nicely here. Oh, there's a car off. Is that Dirdude? Yes, it is Dirdude, who gets it all wrong into turn number 1. And once again, he's got the windshield wipers on, so I think he's very ecstatic to be in the championship, of course. Next race, please see admin chat for confirmation. Next race, please admit. So, while we go on board with Patrolhead, or Ryra, I should say, so do enjoy the track action. I'm going to leave a message regarding right, so with everything sorted. Oh, look at this bit of pressure here from Palmer. Hairraiser's definitely gotten past Palmer at some point, but Hairraiser is putting a lot of pressure right now on Hairraiser for the race lead here in the Mazda MX5 Cup Championship here. What can Palmer do, and what can Hairraiser do to one another? Look at this, two more battles going on. TGIS and Patrolhead going out about it. Oh, and Palmer, he's forced the issue wide, and Hairraiser still going to slip in, and Palmer has defended that position nicely. Doug Barrow has defended that position nicely as well. And TGIS with a 2.1 second penalty. And they're giving each other a bit of contact so they can definitely see each other. But who's going to force the move into the corner? Definitely going to be Durdude, who's crawled up massively. And look at this three-car battle here for 8th place. So really great battles still to be had in the Mazda MX5 Cup Championship here. Palmer doing a nice job. Oh, wait a minute. Shoot, Palmer has gotten past Hairraiser for the race lead, and it's allowed Doug Barrow and potentially Ryrod to close up. So Palmer having to do the harder work now to try and defend from these two. Doug Barrow with a purple sector. Has everyone purple sector this time by Doug Barrow, looking to obviously try and get some ground. But these cars are moving super slowly. Any time loss can be a very crucial moment, so you definitely want to keep the momentum up in this race. Oh, and Durdude's picked up a penalty from something. It might have been contact with TGIS, because he might have been responsible for that hit with TGIS according to the game penalty. So we will monitor that as well. And as we move up to the front of the field now, Palmer slightly thinking about defending to the inside. And it looks like that gap slowly coming down. And there is the defense move to the inside. Palmer, though, he's got it on a 4/10 margin, which is a pretty sizable margin in this category of racing. But it doesn't mean that Hairraiser can send one down to the inside, just like he's going to do so right about now. Palmer moves a bit too late. Is there going to be contact right there? He leaves into space, but a wonderful move by Hairraiser if he can keep it down the front. Palmer, I have no idea how he kept it on the outside, but still kept it on the outside. Look at this four-car battle that's going on. Look at this right about here. Oh my goodness me, I'm losing my voice already. We're not even 10 minutes into the racing. This is amazing stuff that we're watching here in this league. Let's take a look on board now from the 24 of Palmer. Look at this right about here. 4 cars going at it, and we are just about 10 minutes into this race. Hairraiser with a kick of oversteer, and so is Doug Barrow, but so is Ryrod. Unbelievable stuff. And don't even count out Patrolhead, because he is there. He's about 3.1 seconds off of these guys, but if he can gain some ground and be able to snag some points into this championship, that would be a very good showing for him in his first race of this series. And he is on the moment setting purple sectors right about here, and he's actually getting the man with the fastest lap of this race. So Patrolhead, like I said, don't count him out entirely. And Ryrod has gotten past Doug Barrow for 3rd place in this race. And keep in mind that we will have podium interviews for the podium finishers. So for these guys to try and collect some serious points, Doug Barrow and Hairraiser, who are both occupying the top 5 of this championship, as well as Palmer, who is in 4th in the championship standings, these guys are wanting to seriously look to try and snag some serious points. 5/10 now between the top 2. And the further 2.25 for Ryrod to make up. And there is the move. Oh, and Doug Barrow's had a penalty from something, so he's collected a penalty from something, and this is going to allow Patrolhead to easily sneak by into 4th place slightly. There it is, right about there, and he's set another fast lap. Palmer now on the defense for turn number 1. Hairraiser trying to think of something on the outside. Nothing doing there. And Doug Bear with an amazing dive into turn number 1. Gets 4th place back, but he's still got that 2 times penalty to serve. So he's going to have to do some major work here to try and... Patrolhead is going to have to try and do the work to get that position back. Oh, look at this battle right about here. Hairraiser is completely on the back bumper of SLM Polymer for the race lead. Polymer has done a very, very good job to stand up the pressure for the race here. And these two are still going at it. TGIS has cleared that penalty. Oh, and there's a massive shut between the two cars. And is that going to give a penalty to one of these guys? I'm surprised that it's not, because it looked like TGIS completely dove on the inside of TGIS. And a whopping 2.7 second penalty for bar 27. So I'm not sure what has happened there for him. And these two have not gotten penalties as well. So we turn our attention once again as Ryra, who is very, very good on race pace, has found himself back up into this battle for the race lead. And we should see 3 cars hopefully side by side going into turn number 1, into the braking zone for turn number 1, I should say. Hairraiser not giving Polymer an inch of breathing room as he's right back on the side panel, the back left side panel of that Mazda. Ryra is too far back to make a move at the moment. Hairraiser briefly gets the lead, but the racing line is in favor of Polymer, who is going to get that 3rd place back. Oh, and a very sideways Hairraiser demotes himself 1 position, and Ryra is back up into 2nd. So Ryra, on his first race in this series, can he collect a potential race win on his debut showing in the Mazda MX5 Cup Championship here? This is unbelievable Cup racing right here. What has happened to Patrolhead? Patrolhead, all of a sudden, what happened on his purple? What happened on his sector here? Did Patrolhead have a very slow final sector? Because he's collected a penalty from something. I'm not sure what happened here. These two are still going at it, which is not a surprise. And these 3 are still going at it, which is not a surprise. But what has happened to Patrolhead that has got him down to 5th? We'll take a wait for the sector times. 42 last time. I think he's trying to clear the penalty, which is not a surprise. But something has happened to Patrolhead. What's his last lap? A 2:16. A 2:16 for Patrolhead as his last lap. So he's definitely had an incident of some sort somewhere on the racetrack. I'm not sure where that happened, but with about halfway to go in this first race, in round number 5 of the Mazda MX5 Cup Championship here, we are still waiting to see what happens. So the 2 teammate cars, Hairraiser has fallen back down to 4th. So what has happened to Hairraiser in the past couple of laps? A 2:15 for Hairraiser, so he's had a terrible lap this time around, as Ryra is now the fastest lap setter, pace setter I should say, 2:12.8. That's 3/10 up what Patrolhead had initially, and Polymer is going to have to withstand a lot of pressure from Ryra, who can easily deliver that pressure. He is very, very good on pure pace as he sets a purple sector 1, so he is the fastest man in sector 1 at the moment. A 29.9 the first sector, so that's an incredible sector time for Ryra as we continue to monitor this battle, of course. thinking about it, into turn number 7. Palmer goes to the inside, which is a very, very good move. 8/10 up, so a 211 is on the cards for Ryra, potentially. So, Palmer has done a very, very good job, and these two are actually stretching themselves out. So Hairraiser and Doug Barrow, they might be stretching themselves out from the pack behind, but at the same time they're losing time to the guys up front. So while that battle's going on, TGIS and Durdude have completely separated off. 5 seconds, 6 seconds at most. And this battle between Ben L85, Bar 27, and Chris the Crow, all of those guys are spread out a second apiece. So the battles are starting to become unwound here in this race. So the closest battle we have at the moment is definitely this battle right about here. All board now with Ryra in the driver's eye. So let's take the Optimum Racing line. Owen Palmer gets a little slow. Oh, it was a contact made between the two cars. There might have been, because they're on identical pace now after that contact, so that might have helped Palmer out slightly. And Palmer now, with a 2:12.8, setting his fastest lap of the race, has got a lot of work to do to maintain that first place. Tire-wise, is there any tire wear between these guys? Ryra sends one down the inside. I do not think there's any tire wear on in this race, so that might have to be something to take a look at. And while this battle is going on, we will continue to monitor it within the eyes of Ryra. So 10 minutes ago, we will continue to monitor this battle because it is the closest one that we have at the moment. I'm going to step away for a minute or so, but I will be back, obviously, to finish up this race. So with about 6 minutes to go left in the 5th round of the Straight Line Motorsports Mazda MX5 Cup Championship here, we will continue to monitor this battle. But as of right now, Palmer still leads. Ryra is still on the hunt in 2nd place. Doug Barrow continuing to find a way to the slipstream in 3rd. And Hair Razor with his teammate 2.1 second penalty will unfortunately have to serve that. But he still wants to maintain that current gap slipstream maintaining ability that he has at the moment. He's trying to serve that penalty now going to turn 1, but he doesn't want to ram his teammate, of course, which is not a good thing. I was seeing that as I was flicking over to Patrol Head real quick. So these guys still occupying 3rd and 4th. 5th place, Patrol Head, a very, very good day for him, unfortunately. He was right up along the back bumper for most of the top 4. I'm not sure what happened to him, honestly. I really do not know what had happened. Oh, and there's a bit of lag right there as I speak. TGIS in 6th. 7th, Durdude in the rusty Mazda. 8th, Ben L85, who is stretched away from Bar 27 and Chris the Crow. And these guys are still going at it, going into turn number 7. These guys still 3rd and 4th, and I believe with about 3.5 minutes to go, they will still keep their positions as is. And Ryra has all of a sudden got a second off on Palmer. So Ryra, who's putting on a lot of pressure for Palmer, so now, with about under 2.5 minutes to go, roughly, Palmer is super, super close to getting his first win of the season. And Ryra, who still continues to set some incredible pace, as he will probably consolidate 2nd place. Palmer has still withstood a lot of pressure, of course. Hair Razor now with a 7/10 penalty, which he's gotten past Doug Barrow. But with a minute remaining for the final lap of this race, Hair Razor might have to slow up considerably to keep that 3rd place. But now, with about 1.25 minutes to go, we do move on to the final lap of the race here. And Palmer and Ryra are still going at it. One of these guys are going to win for the first time this season. Palmer, who's completely close to the pit lane. Oh, and Ryra almost faked a move going into turn number 1. And Ryra is still putting the pressure on. He had that, I don't know what, I think he had a kick of oversteer going into the final corner a couple laps ago, and he continues to set a purple sector 1. Ryra with a 2:11.9, but Palmer with a 2:12.6. So these guys are absolutely on the limit right about now. And Ryra is just not letting go of a potential race win here. And Palmer, these guys are in a heated duel right now with one another. Gap now half a second going into the hairpin for the final time. These guys are side by side. I'm not sure if Hair Razor's going to serve that penalty in time, but we will find out coming into the finish line. But this battle is so close this battle, Jesus, my English, I apologize. This battle is really, really close for us to take our eyes off of it, so we will continue to monitor it the final way out. Oh, and Palmer gets a kick of oversteer slightly going into the final set of corners. Ryra's going to think about a move, but Palmer's got the momentum push. Palmer gets a kick of oversteer, and with about a 7/10 gained, Ryra needs an absolute good exit here to have any chance of a potential race win. And Palmer is gaining on Ryra, so that might have done it right there. For the final time, coming to the finish line, it was a very, very tough race. He's flashing the lights knowing that he's won. SLM Palmer is going to win for the first time this season. SLM Palmer wins round number 5 of the Mazda MX5 Cup Championship, with Ryra coming in second. And look at this right here, side by side for the final spot on the podium. It is going to be the Costa Mazdas. And I think that penalty by Hair Razor was still there, which has served they were completely side by side. Patrolhead on his first Mazda MX5 Cup Championship start. He will grab a top 5 finish. TGIS barely right there for 6th. Durdude in 7th, and Ben85 in 8th. And Krista Curl and Bar 27, they're not done yet. They still got some unfinished business to take care of. Can Bar 27 sneak a position possibly to get some extra points? These guys are so close to one another. Bar 27 makes the move, but it's not going to be enough, as Krista Crow will hold on to 9th and Bar 27 will hold on for 10th. But the man on pole position, SLM Palmer, with his first win of the season in the 24 Mazda MX5 Cup car. And we will have, whoa, that's a big old leg spike! Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, that was a oh my goodness gracious me. That was wait, hold on. Before we commence the podium interviews, who got third? So it was Doug Barrow that got the race win. So, or not the race win, third place. So we will commence the podium finishing interviews. Make the party public. And we will wait for our podium finishers to pop on in. SMM Jack Mia says, that was a great race, close finish for many. That was a very, very good race indeed. So we will invite our podium finishers as soon as my PlayStation will properly act fine. Doug Barrow, Ryra, and Palmer. So we do have our podium finishers, of course. Our race results coming right there. And we wait for our podium finishers to pop in. Ryra got the fastest lap of the race. of course, with that 2:11.9, which was a very, very good showing. Let me send in the podium interviews. So we wait for those to join in for our podium finishing interviews. And it looks like we got one of the race winners here. We have our race winner, SLM Polymer, who, can you hear me, Polymer, just to get a mic check from you? Let's see here real quickly. Polymer is muted, so let's just make sure we can be able to hear him. Of course. And there is our race winner of round number 5 of the Straight Line Motorsports Mazda MX5 Cup Championship. Polymer, that was a very, very tough race for you right there. How would you describe that race? Yeah, it looked like Ryra at the end was putting on a lot of pressure for you right there, and you were doing an absolutely stellar job to withstand that pressure. What was the key for you in the race to realize that you were able to withstand that much amount of pressure from somebody who was basically staying unbelievably lap times and was the only one to dip in underneath the 211s underneath the 212s that whole race? What kind of made you realize that you can be able to beat one of the fastest guys in the Straight Line Motorsports League? So a very, very good showing for SLM Polymer, of course, within the Straight Line Motorsports Mazda MX5 Cup Championship route for round number 5 here at Fuji National Speedway. We do move on to our second place finisher of Ryra. Ryra, unfortunately, that win kind of slipped from your hands last minute, but a very, very good showing for you in your first race here in the championship. How would you describe your race, obviously? You made a couple good moves on SLM Polymer for the race lead, but it looks like he might have fired back right at you in some of those instances, including that one move where you dived to the inside of him for turn number 1, which I was away for, but I did see it briefly. But other than that, very, very good day for you. What does this second place mean to you in terms of competing on a regular basis in the MX5 Cup Championship? A very, very good day for you, of course, as well. Let me just check to see if Doug Barrow, of course, got in the party. Let me just make sure that he's able to get in for his podium slot, of course. Doug Barrow. And while we wait for Doug Barrow, actually, never mind. Is that Doug Barrow right there? Yes, it is Doug Barrow. So we wait for Doug Barrow to pop in. Doug Doug Barrow. Nothing yet for Doug Barrow still. And I think because of the issues that we were having for booting up the live stream here earlier in the day, I might keep this one up so that it can be changed to 5 and 6 so I don't lose the connection. Doug Barrow, you are muted, unfortunately. Let me just make sure that he can pop his thing in. Let me just confirm with Doug Barrow to make sure that he can be all right.